Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm always love to visit online because this one is green city, healthy city. So I'm sure, and you are excited today, right? Still sleepy. Okay, and some of maybe you know me, and some of you doesn't know. Many of you doesn't know me, and I'm, I'm Rukman Sunwar. I'm from Nepal. As I have only one wife, and her name is Sapna, and our daughter Abigail. She is great. She is 9 years old, and she's going to be from this year grade 5. And we have proactive son, and his name is Jonathan. He's 6 years old, and he's going to be a grade 2 from this year. Okay, so. In 2013, I remember 2013, and Pastor Ray always keep talking with me, and I able to know Pastor Ray in 2010, and he's the one who really discipled me, and he did one-to-one to me, and I able to understand the purpose of my life, why God created me, and He has purpose and plan. And 2013, end of 2013, I'm the one who is really accept the God's call from every nations about that. I'm the very first one. And I went in 2014 January School of Relations in Manila, and I love Philippines because Filipino are generous, and not only generous, they are very good too. For who those are foreigner came inside the Philippines. And same times I had great privilege to serve in Tacloban. You know what happened in Yolanda times, and I sleep with your people, I cried with your people, I sleep on the street with your people, and I love so much. And during those times, I remember the Tacloban church is very small. They are 40, around 50, and something like this. And now they are grown, and now they are big churches, and they are doing great job. Okay? So I just we know that we will start or we will begin our series, and which is called Courage, Faith, and we will look first week today. So today, we will look at faith in the face of the multiple adversities. Everyone, the challenges will come, and sometimes people they thought when they are becoming Christians, there is no challenges coming, so everything will be done. Okay? Yes, there is. Of course, being a follower of Christ, there is more challenges will come in our life, because God wants to test our faith. Okay, so next week we will look the faith in the midst of the life of battle, and third week we will look the faith that defies culture, and fourth week we will end up wrap up our series with the faith that honor the King. So today we will look sing your way to victory. So we will look from the life of Jehoshaphat, of King of Judah. We will look, we will learn from his faith today, how he was and how he take action by faith. Instead of believing worldly things and fearless, but he trusted to the Lord, and he's becoming the winner. So we will see later down. So shall we stand up, everybody? So let's do our exercise. If you want to sleep, I will give you 20 seconds so you have to close your eyes. And I believe and I encourage you to also, the whole preaching times you wake up, right? So close your cell phone, no chatting there. If I did not see you, but God will see us. Right? So we will listen. So can we read? 1, 2, 3, go.
After this, the Moabites and Ammonites, and with them some of the Midianites, came against Jehoshaphat for battle. Some men came and told Jehoshaphat, a great multitude is coming against you from Edom, from beyond the sea, and behold, they are in
armor. That is indeed. And
then Jehoshaphat was afraid and set his face to seek the Lord, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Judah. And Judah assembled to seek help from the Lord. From all the cities of Judah they came to seek the Lord.
okay, so please sit down. Thank you, Father God, Holy Spirit. We will ask your presence within this place today during your word, Father God, and really prepare us to listen to your word. And even I pray that, Lord God, help me to, to proclaim, to speak your word for your people. In Jesus' name, amen. So everybody, most of us, we know the life of Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat is fourth king of the Judah and his son of Asa. Here, what we can see from the 2nd Chronicles chapter 20 and 1 to 4, here we can see the kingdom of Judah is about to attacked by these three and great powerful nations, three powerful nations. And of course, Jehoshaphat is king, but still he is human, right? So when he hear the message from others, there someone is three nations with vast army, the multitude army, they are going to attack him. So what it came in his mind? Of course, because of human being, he feared about these things. But what we can see, the King Jehoshaphat sought to the Lord because he is seeking guidance and wisdom. And at the same time, what he did, he really everyone in his kingdom, to ask God for the help. And he declared the day of fast. He is very, very boldness, and he is very, very strong in faith. And maybe sometimes, if we hear that, if we got SMS, tomorrow someone is gonna kill you. What is your first action and reaction? Of course, you will run away. You try to save yourself. But here we can learn the really, really big lessons from King Jehoshaphat. Instead of run away and seek the guidance and wisdom from the Lord, and he really everyone in Kingdom of Judah, to fast. And humanly speaking, this is really its reality. But there is always two options. Either you choose fear or acknowledge your situations. But here, great things, King Jehoshaphat acknowledged his situations. And he did not run away from his situation, though there is current trade, but instead he ran towards the God. What a beautiful, faith and actions from the King Jehoshaphat. So here, what we can learn from this, King Jehoshaphat really he showed his example of character, being a follower of Christ, and God first look our characters. How much more we are strong, how much more we are, we have faith, and how much more we are talent, but God always sees our characters. And this is the one King Jehoshaphat example his character, the person who showed humility. And what happened? he is dependent on God. He's not limit because he's king, he's powerful. He did not limit his own understanding and own positions, but he related to God. And what can we learn today? What do we do when we face with the multitude of troubles? So what we will do? And first things, of course, we will worry about it, and maybe, and some of us we are run away from the circumstances, challenges when we face, and we give up our faith. But here, Jehoshaphat, he ran to the ark. He stayed up, he ran away from his situation because he acknowledged his situations and he ran to the God. So here, 2 Chronicle chapter 20, verse 3 to 4, and Jehoshaphat was afraid, and set his face, seek the Lord, and proclaim the fast throughout all the Judah. Even King Jehoshaphat is afraid when he hears the message, as they are going to, attack from these three as very powerful country. And he afraid, but he chose to seek the Lord. Earlier I said, he seek the guidance and wisdom from the God. And then what he did, he proclaimed the fast throughout all Judah. That means he really, everyone in Judah to fast. And what happened? The Judah assembled to seek help from the Lord. From all cities of Judah, they came to seek the Lord. And good things, everyone from from the Judah, as they come together to seek the Lord. And that is why being a follower of Christ, being a one community, and there is very, very important one thing for every one of us. That one is small group. So when we face challenge, and our small group will start to intercede for us, and they will start to help each other, as God will see our cry, our plea to Him for someone, and God will answer our prayer. And let me encourage to you, if you don't have yet, a small group, please be part of a small group. As that will help you, and that will give you good futures in your life. Amen? Amen. And King Jehoshaphat, he can do anything because he was king, right? But he still seek help from the God, and not just only God, from his people. Right? So what is it? Immediate reaction. It's immediate reaction. It's immediate reaction. Although King Jehoshaphat was afraid, his immediate reaction was to seek God. That is why every time, my brothers and sisters, no matter what kind of challenges is in front of us and what kinds of wall is in front of us, let's start to forsake God's will in our lives. Amen? Amen. So God will give us wisdom, and God will give us strength, and He will sustain us in battle with our circumstances. So I know we don't have a lot of times. So run to God is not away from Him. When we run to God, we are more closer to Him. And then closer to Him means we have more intimate relationship with Him. And God will speak to us. And God will give us wisdom. And He will give us, guidance, what to do. That is why very, very important, my dear friends, to run, continue to God. As I remember one time Pastor they told me, race run after Jesus Christ until we finish. That is why we never give up. We will continue run with Jesus Christ. Amen?
Amen.
And what he did, second thing, and he, King Jehoshaphat, remember his past blessings. He did not just run to God, but he remembered his past blessings. And here, chapter 20, and 5 to 7, and Jehoshaphat stood in the assembly of the Judah and Jerusalem. See, he stood up, and those house of the Lord people knew God. And what he said, O Lord God of our Father, are you not God in heaven? And you rule over the kingdoms of nations. In your hand are power and might. And see here, King Jehoshaphat recognized power of God. He's really talking to God with confidence. And sometimes, when we face challenge, we will afraid to talk to with God, and we'll give up. Even we will not look our Bible, we will not read Word of God, and even we will not pray for it. Because I'm since 20 years Christians, but God never, answer my prayers. So every day I used to attend a small group, and every Friday I used to go to church, but it did not happen. And always there is challenges in my life. Why? Sometimes we give up. But remember how Jehoshaphat acted with God. And so that none is able to withstand you. See, he's declaring God's power. And did you not, our God, drive out the inhabitants of this land before your people Israel, and give it to forever to descendants of Abraham, your friend. See how he is confident. And he recognized that God is more powerful than his enemy, right? Yes. So, God is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So, if God did not, if God did it in the past, so yesterday, if God did it in the past, and he can do it today also. Yes. Right? That is the confidence with the King Jehoshaphat. He remembered God's faithfulness to Israel during their previous battles. So we know how God, brought them from slaves to the promised land, So he remembered the battle, and God is ultimate there. And what remembering the goodness of God reinforce and build the faith and confidence of the people towards God. See, my friend, remembering God's goodness of God reinforce and build the faith and confidence of the people towards God. So when we remember God's faithfulness to us, really it will build one step ahead our faith and confidence towards Him. That is why we know since who we are separated from God because of sin, and how He sacrificed His life for you and me. And Jesus, again rebuild relationship with God. So everybody we have past, and God doesn't look our past, but He wants to see us, His faithfulness towards us. Amen? Amen. So we cannot say, I don't have past. So everybody we have past, but still God is faithfulness. And King Jehoshaphat, he recognized and he remembered, God's faithfulness to us. And third is rest in His promise. So here, rest is in promise. And He said, listen, all Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem and King Jehoshaphat, those say, the Lord to you. Do not afraid and do not be dismayed at this great war, from the battle is not yours but God's. Here, God is reminding, as God sustains Jehoshaphat, do not afraid and do not dismiss me, do not give up. This battle is not yours, but mine. So sometimes when we face challenge, and sometimes when we face difficult situations, and we will lose our hope, we forget God, and we'll try to resolve ourselves with our education, with our strength. My friend, God knows every situation and circumstance and battles in our lives. And when we put God first, when we remember God's faithfulness, God who is fight for us, and He will give us victory. Amen? That is why we need to go always to God. And we need to ask Him. And He will answer our prayers. And He will bring us from circumstance to, challenge to the victory and joy in our lives. Amen? But tomorrow, what He said, but tomorrow, go down against them. Behold, they will come up by the ascent of Egypt. You will find them at the end of the valley, east of the wilderness of Jerusalem. And you will not need to fight in this battle. Again, it's repeat. You will not need to fight in this battle. But He gave instructions, command. And He said, stand firm and hold your position. And see the salvation of the Lord on your behalf. O Judah and Jerusalem, again, do not be afraid and do not be dismayed. Tomorrow, go out against them and the Lord will be with you. Wow. So here, we can see the great, great, great promise from God. The resting in the God promise means we trust in Him and act through the promise until it's fulfilled. So maybe some of you and some of us, right? We trust God, but if we did not act, what it will happen? It's nothing. If you say, I believe, but your faith cannot action in action, that's like a death. That is why we need to, we need to trust. Rest in His promise means we are trusting God. And although God assured Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat victory, it was if they need to do nothing. God promised them already. But He said, it's not yours battles, but I will. And He instruct them, to stand firm and hold position and go out against their enemy. And so what they did, King Jehoshaphat and the rest of them, they followed him. Sometimes God told us to do something and we will forget. When God told us something to do, really we need to act in faith. And faith believes in action. Without action in faith, nothing. That is why being a follower of Christ, our faith always should be in action. Amen? Amen. As great faith comes with action based on what God has promised. This is, you know, the great things. Great faith comes with action based on what God has promised. That is why, my brothers and sisters, I would like to encourage to everyone in this room, let's add our faith in action.
Yes.
So I know, I remember Legion. Now, thank you for the leadership of Elder, because he is coming from Dubai. And I know, bro, keep continuing, one day God will bless you. And I remember Athens Church is the one of the very old member, I can see that. They are our good friends. You know, I don't know how long she will be here. But at least, you know, they act their faith to start this church. So in this room, it's not enough. But God wants to multiply. That means He wants us to add our faith to build His church in Syria. Amen. And I'm sure one day this church will be Sender Church. That is why God brought you inside this room, my friend. And let's keep continue to believe and act in action our faith. And fourth is raise your voice in praise. So just few minutes, our worship teams, they sound very beautiful, song. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. Singing song is really, it's powerful. It will connect with God and it will draw us closer to God. And we are more than powerful, That is why every time our worship team, when they sing song, I will ask them, guys, remember, you are not just singing the song, but you are withdrawn and our audience, our member, the church, to closer to God. That is why every time when we sing song, it is not just only we are coming here to stand and sing songs. So you have to come with one hope. That's hope, and goal is to connect, congregations to God. That is why very, very important to raise your voice in praise. And then Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground. See, still continue. Jehoshaphat, his faith in action, his believing God, faithfulness, his keep bow down, and all Judah and of Jerusalem fell down before the Lord and worshiping the Lord. They come together. That is why it's only Albert cannot build his church. But we need everyone, because God wants us to act in action. That is why, again, I will repeat this. If you are not yet part of this small group, please join from today.
Amen.
Join from today. And start to pray for one person. Start to sing a song with one person's name. And that song will withdraw this person to closer to Jesus Christ. Amen. And Levites of the 12 who had Hittites and Horites stood up and praised the Lord, God of Israel, with a very loud voice. So don't hesitate. When you sing a song, start to sing loudly from inside your heart. I love singing, but God did not give me to sing. But I love to hear song. My gift is evangelism as a church. Chant, I will call chant. So we went last year together the mission thing, in Pakistan. So I'm afraid with everybody they are new. I never meet them. I never talk to with them. But I keep continuing to pray with God. God help me to work with this thing. Even I fly different flight from Dubai. But I'm waiting for them. I had 6 hours. I landed in Lahore. And within 10 days, they did awesome job. Because we keep continuing interceding with each other. And so many people, we're able to share gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen. And one of the, Punjab University, we have our cousin friend. He is Chinese translator, a student. We're able to make friendship with him. And now, he's, meeting with Uyala in his small group, and he's attending our church. Amen.
Amen.
That is why very, very important. So whenever we are, when we walk, when we sleep, when we walk, every time we praise God. And we'll sing a song. From bottom of our heart, from inside our heart. Then God will listen, God will listen. Then what happened, and when they have taken counsel with the people of apartment, those who were sing to the Lord and praise Him in holy attire, as they went before the army and said, "Give thanks to the Lord, for His steadfast love endures forever." It is amazing, right? And this is why it is very, very important to worship and praise God. And then they used their, what happened? Again, what they did? What they did? Their song of praise and calling on Him and believing for the deliverance as their weapon against their enemy. So how important to praise and sing a song for the Lord? Because He said, "This battle is not yours, but mine. You are not alone, but I am." And every time I used to travel, when I travel different nations, the people will ask me when I arrive there, "So how many you are?" So I'm always telling them, "We are 4. "So are you kidding? Where are the 3 of them?" "No, they are with me." "So where they are? Their name is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and myself. We travel together always." And because these 3 persons is 24/7 hour, 365 days with Him, my friend. That is why when we song, you will rejoice, Then He will battle our battles, and He will give us victory. Amen?
Amen.
And then what happened? I saw this news. Sing hallelujah to the Lord. And Hong Kong protest continues with the worship. Since Hong Kong is led by British, and now they give it to hand over back to China. And there is China rules, it's communist, right? And Hong Kong is freedom country, and they are making something, rules. And then what happened? The 2 million. There have been reported that among the 2 million people gathered in Hong Kong to the protest on Monday. It is very near, It's 17 June 29. And many used the opportunity to sing a worship song. That song is "Sing Hallelujah to the Lord." You know, it's became 2 million people, they sing this song to protest. You know, and what happened? The all police, you know, the guards are joining with them. In beginning, this song is like a national anthem. And then case is Christmas. Now, the Hong Kong government, and they look, you know, Christianity, and they expect Christianity right now because of this. So how much more important to see the Lord? So are you ready to sing the Lord outside today? No? Are you ready to sing the song?
Yes.
Guys,
Come on.
Amen.
Yes.
Guys,
Sing.
let's sing. You know, whenever we are, because God is always with us and He will rejoice with us. Amen. Can we give glory to God? Thank you, Hong Kong people and Hong Kong Christians. You know, from, you know, the belief of governments, then how much more? That is why God brought us in these nations.
Yes.
And city of Allah to bless this city, to change this city. Amen. And number 4. Then what happened? Receive what?
Victory.
It is amen, right?
Amen.
Wow. Then what happens? They receive, you know, God's victory. Wow. Maybe some of you doesn't want, right? How do you want? Victory. So if you want victory, my friend, run to Jesus Christ and sing for the Lord. Remember past blessings. You know, this is very, very important. Then what happened? Because of Jehoshaphat's faith and obedience heart, and God defeated these 3 great powerful nations. And what happened? And when they began to sing and to praise the Lord and set an ambush against the men of Mount and Mount Seir, and we had come against Judah, so that they were rooted. And for the men of Ammon and Moab rose against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, devoting them to destructions. And when they have met in of the inhabitants, they all help to destroy one another. See what happens? Because of faith, the multitude and vast armed force and these 3 nations, you know, because of Jehoshaphat, faithfulness. And what happens? They give each other. Because God told them, stand firm. You know, stand firm. And take position. Then go. This battle, you will not fight, but I will fight. This is what God promised to King Joseph. And he just simply obeyed. And they got victory. Amen. That is why, my brothers and sisters, maybe some of you are going through these situations. Maybe you are believing from long time something good for your life and your family, but it did not happen. But let me encourage to you, my brothers and sisters, be stand and trust the Lord and walk with Him, sing for Him, run with Him, and you will be with because of your faith. And faith, believe in did King Jehoshaphat shoot with his gun and his, sword? Did he fight? No. Because of it. They destroyed his enemy. They destroyed themselves. Amen. So what can we do? God is their victory. He battled against their enemies, for the battle is God's and not theirs. The battle is God's. It's not yours. Battle is there, but it's not yours. Our job is to trust God. Our job is to be faithful with God. Our job is to always run with Him. And He will take care of us. Amen. And before I used to work here, I came here 2003 in Abu Dhabi. I had a very good job, and I worked with this company. It's 10 years. And when I decided to, because God called me and I accept the very first time I'm the number one in Abu Dhabi. I received God's call, And when I give resignations, and my boss, are you mad? And many of our friends and even our Arabic friends, they're asking me, are you mad? Because I have one driver and I have good car that my company gave me the accommodations and everything that I need, I have in And then I give up. And then my wife asking me, okay, now we have 2 children, then what you will feed your children? And many of leaders also. I told them, God never let me go down. If He call me, He will fulfill His promise to my family. And we start to pray. And my wife said after 6 months, so you can go, don't worry about us and children. God will take care of every one of us. It's challenge. And I went to school after this. And I never ever thought I would come back to this nation again. And after school, I went back to Nepal. And again, 2014 September, I came back. And I prayed, God, is this your will to me go back to again? Yes, go my son. And I came with my whole family. That we keep trusting. And I'm always thankful to this church, Alliance Church. They are my daily first supportive church. So always we pray for this church. My wife and me and my son. And one day, this church will grow. And like me, and many and more full-time workers will support this church. Amen. So my dear brothers and sisters, keep continuing trusting God. And maybe we are powerless, we do not hope against this thing that is coming against us. Our job is, we do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you. This is what they spread, their faith. That is why, my brothers and sisters, let's put our faith and let's fix our eyes towards to Jesus and towards to God. And He will take care of us. Amen? Amen. How many do you want to fix your eyes from today towards to Jesus? What can I do? Maybe. How many you can say by boldly you will fix your eyes towards to Jesus from today? If this is, let's give glory to God. Our eyes are closed. And this is in verse. First Thessalonians 5, 16 and 18. Rejoice always, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Amen. Yes. Music team. That is why, no matter what kind of circumstances, challenges in front of us, let's rejoice always. And let's trust Jesus Christ. Amen. Please, I would like to call our brother and he will encourage us something. So can we read before this loudly? Our takeaway is 1, 2, 3, go.
Our multiple